What's going on, guys? Koi's here, and today we're going to take a deep dive into the best controller settings in the Crew Motorfest. No matter your driving style, whether it's tarmac, drift, rally, sea, or air, I assure you guys by the end of this video you will pull something positive away and become a better Motorfest driver. Alright guys, so getting into it, first tab is game settings. Nothing really matters too much here. This is all personal preference. If you want a more like realistic view per se, this is a lot of your HUD options that you could just change. Personally, I just have everything on the default settings with the exception of music track off, because during the streams I just play the own music, so I don't want to confuse you guys with the music track options that pop up in game. Airplane controls. Just a lot of other miscellaneous stuff. Moving on to difficulty. I do a lot of grand races, so I have it all on max difficulty just to give me that little extra increase in money gain. If I'm going for a WR time and solo, depending on the track, if it's like a pretty tight turn track, I'll put difficulty on 2 just so I could get by the AI quicker. If it's more of a straight line world record track, I'm gonna go for max difficulty so I could get slipstream. Guidance, this is a personal preference as well. I have it on just so that way I could get a good reference point to braking and where the road is going, or should I say the path. Auto braking, you definitely want this off. Auto steering, you definitely want this off. Rewind, I have it on. It says off. This setting might be a little bugged. I definitely would keep rewind on though. Nitro, obviously you want that on. Cockpit view, off. This forces the game to permanently put you in cockpit view while you're playing the game, and you do not want that. My ABS is on. If you don't have it on, good luck, because your brakes are going to lock up and you're probably just going to be spinning out. My traction control is on comfort. So these settings right here, a lot of people say, oh, depending on what you have on them, they'll make your car slower or faster, which is true. Alright, but as you guys seen in the live streams of me doing the grand races, obviously pretty quick, and this is my personal setup for these settings. The reason I do it is to show you guys, and not to take any diss on you, for the average player, skill level, that you could be fast with even the most safety settings on. That's pretty much what these are. So ESP, so if you're taking a shortcut in the grand race or go through dirt per se, your car is not gonna like just completely spin out on you. It'll keep your car more of a straight line. This also works for cars with a lot of torque. A good example of a car will be the MXGICIQ R. If you get on the NOS coming out of a low speed corner, and you have this on off or sport, you're definitely going to feel the car just kind of losing grip on you. It's going to go in a zigzag motion, and it's going to be hard to keep it stable to go in a straight line. You might overcorrect yourself and just drift off the track. My drift assist is on sport. I don't want it completely off. I want it on sport, so that way when I do go into a drift, I have the game helping me out a little, but also it's mainly me that's helping myself out to maintain control of the drift. Counter steer assist is off. This basically increases the power while it's off of you correcting yourself. If you're pretty decent, keep it on. Keep it off, I mean. If not, just keep it on. Handling airplane assist, I highly recommend keep this off. I tried it out, it made me driving in planes worse, and I just personally do not recommend it. Accessibility, again here, this is all personal preference. Motion blur, I keep it off. So motion blur will be like your little air waves around your car when you're going pretty fast. I don't like seeing that. If you guys do, you could keep it on. Camera shake off. I don't like my camera just bouncing around as I'm like going through different terrains. HUD high contrast, this just changes the color of like the HUD, that's about it, nothing else. Text size, self-explanatory. Racing line, so if you do race with the racing line on and it seems a little faded or difficult to see, you could change it right here from standard to, I believe I'm saying this right, a week, to make it pop out a little bit more. Hearing, again, here is all personal preference. Motor, nothing really much to talk about here except convert holds to presses. So as many of you guys probably have seen me during the live streams and the grand races, I'll kind of fly through a checkpoint and I'll instantly reset my car. This is a factor that contributes into that, where I don't have to hold my rewind button during a grand race to actually reset. I just have to tap it and I immediately reset. So I highly recommend putting this on. This also is good for when you're dismantling parts for cars. You don't have to hold each part individually, you could just tap them. I just say slow yourself down a bit, be careful to make sure you don't dismantle a nice legendary nitrochemist part. Adaptive triggers, so this is just your trigger resistance. I personally have mine on 30. Here you want to kind of have it low, you don't want to be too high. The higher it is, the more resistance it's going to be, so your trigger is going to feel really stiff and rigid, and you don't want your trigger too stiff and rigid because it's going to make it difficult for braking and throttle control. Videos, self-explanatory. I mean, put what you're able to put on. This is mainly for the PC players, but this is your settings are just mine. Again, audio and language. Nothing to go on here, personal preference. Alright, controls. So this is probably the most important part of the video. If you're racing manual on controller, PC or console regardless, you're going to want it on sequential. H shifter with manual clutch does not work. There is no clutch on controller at all in this game. The camera sensitivities right here, they don't really matter. I kept these at default. I don't like vibration when I'm playing any game, so I turn that off. So steering input. This is the big one right here. A lot of you guys are probably playing on the default dead zone, and if you guys don't know where a dead zone is, it's pretty much where your analog stick is at its default resting position, and you have to move it a certain amount in either direction for the input to register. So if you have your dead zone all the way at 100, you practically have to move your analog stick all the way to the right, and as you can see that on the graph right there, to get input. I recommend playing between 15 to 0. That's my recommendation. Any more than that, you're kind of just hurting yourself. I personally play at 5. So as you can see right there, that's where the input kicks in. But the lower you have it, the more twitchy it's going to be. One thing I did forget, the linearity here. If you guys feel like there's a delay in the game when turning your car, put the steering linearity at 0. I promise you, you will feel an immediate difference in the car's responsiveness in turning. This pretty much takes away all the input lag in its entirety when you're turning. The highest setting here, this is pretty much the range of motion of the analog stick, so you want this on highest. Throttle, you want linearity at 0. You don't want any input delay or input registration delay. Keep it at 0. Makes it easier for throttle control and braking control. Dead zone as well, keep this at 0. highest course, braking, linearity 0, dead zone 0, highest. That's pretty much it. I appreciate you guys tuning into the video. I hope it helped you out. If you enjoyed it, please drop a like or comment down below. And don't forget to subscribe and turn the post notifications bell on so that way you don't miss a video from me in the future. I appreciate your guys' support on the previous videos I posted and the live streams, and I'll catch you on the next one.